Gentlemen, BBC Summit 2023, a lot of excitement. What's been the highlight so far?
Well, we did a panel yesterday where we really think we conveyed a lot of information to the crowd about how to work with tribes, the condition of tribes. So for me, that's why I came here, and I'm excited that we had the chance to do that.
Absolutely. Scott?
Yeah, just to reiterate, a lot of great questions in post during the course of the panel discussion. And it was interesting to get the perspective because you can kind of tell there's not a lot of experience working with tribal nations. So that all kind of came through in the discussion and then obviously based on their questioning as well.
Let's talk about the challenges of providing connectivity to tribal nations, because that is something that has been a missed opportunity in so many places across the country. From your perspective, what is the biggest challenge?
Well, I think history is the biggest challenge, and I could spend an hour talking about that, but I'll just say history and the lack of investment to this point. So there's so much catch-up. There hasn't been a level set in Indian country for a long time. So trying to get to that level set is probably the biggest challenge, which involves a lot of other things. But I would say that's the biggest challenge by far.
Yeah, and when we talk about the commitment that is required to do that, Scott, give us your thoughts there.
So it obviously takes a team of specialists and, through strategic partnerships and business relationships. It's more than just one company that's going to be able to kind of bridge this gap and, quote unquote, the digital divide. So, being able to talk to some of these companies now face to face is awesome, but it's at this stage, it's almost a daily process. We're getting contacted by companies, and it's almost one of the themes that I'm picking up here as well is they are working with a tribe, or they are trying to work with a tribe, but they don't know what to do next, or they're missing a component part. So we're able to come in as kind of some subject matter experts, but also we can kind of fill some of these gaps for them and really help, because our goal is to help the tribe and get them connected.
Let's talk about that, the importance of guidance and education for those in the process. That's a big part of the conversation.
Well, it works from both sides, and you hit a good point. I was going to follow up on Scott that the tribes need education because, again, as I say, there hasn't been a level set in a long time. The lack of knowledge at the tribal level is pretty obvious. They want to learn. They have every reason to do that, and so part of our mission is to help with that. But we also need the federal government and private industry to help with that process. Not talk down, but try to bring people up to a knowledge level so they can make good decisions about their communities. And then on the other side, the industry needs to understand that working in Indian country isn't just knowing somebody. It's really making a commitment to the time and effort it takes to build a relationship of trust. Because, again, history doesn't work in anybody's favor here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that it's important for all parties to be truly invested in that process. And so last question, gentlemen, you've been gracious with your time. Are you enthusiastic about the opportunities and where we will be 5-10 years from now?
Well, I'm very optimistic about that. I think with the investments that can be made now because of funding available, awareness in the industry, which I think was part of the reason we're here now, I think there's great reason to be optimistic, but I still think there's going to be a lot of work to do in 3 to 5 years. So.
Yeah, the same, echoing some of that. And that was a question yesterday. Where do you see this in 3 to 5 years? So I am very optimistic. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of time, money, energy, resources, all the above, and all in due time. But we see some nice, healthy sort of activity right now from a few tribes. And I think there's a blueprint that's going to come from that, and it's going to help all those other tribes that are still trying to figure it out. And these are conversations we have every day. But yeah, I'm optimistic, very optimistic.